Rika.
All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, it's fun.
All right, Major Hendricks.
You want to go forth and do yours first, and then I'll chime in, or what do you want to do?
We can do that, whatever you'd like, ma'am.
Let's do that, just in case you need to disappear. I'm watching.
Okay. Welcome everyone. This meeting is for all Chaplain Corps personnel, or those interested, or commanders, or anyone that is interested in what we do. I'm Chaplain Barlow, Camille Barlow. I'm the Wing Chaplain, also the Phantom Squadron Chaplain, Assistant Region Chaplain, which means nothing right now. It just means I have another email address to monitor, is what it means. Okay. So my bit that I'm going to talk about is about CHES, Chaplain Corps Emergency Services School. If you are if you have been through that school, could you just unmute yourself and just say who you are? I don't know that anyone else has.
Okay, we have Leslie Fife. We have who else?
Unmute yourself.
I'm not sure I have, actually.
I think that you would know if you had. It's like a month-long course. They just started this last year.
No, I don't believe I've done it. I did the National Safety College recently, but nothing with Chaplain Emergency Services.
Okay. And Chaplain Barden, have you been through it yet, or are you still just signed up?
I just signed up.
Awesome. Okay. So I went through it last November. Let me try to share my screen here. Just going to give
Chaplain?
Yes.
Is that the course that's coming up in like 10 days or so?
That is the Region Staff College, which I will also go over.
Okay, I am signed up.
So this is, yeah, this is something else. Let's pull up this window. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
What do you see?
A little tiny white document and the rest of your desktop.
Oh, wonderful. That's not what I wanted. Okay, let me try that again. I've just got too many windows open. So I have a little presentation. So that document is part of it. I was going to show it, but then I realized it's not that helpful. So we'll just share the full desktop. Okay, are you seeing my calendar right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Okay. Nope, not iTunes. All right, so if we go to Wing Conference, here we go. Let's make this bigger. Present, I guess. Okay, so Chaplain Corps Emergency Services School. This is not a new program, but it's run by the National Emergency Services Academy, which is held in Camp Atterbury, Indiana, each summer. It's basically the mission chaplain and chaplain support specialist emergency services school. So it qualifies you to work in emergency services. So you can read for yourself there. That's a fancy way of saying that you'll get a stamp of certification that says you can work in emergency environments. And this is a little bit different than the mission chaplain rating that we've had forever. I mean, the skill base isn't that different. Like I said, it's kind of an official stamp that you're qualified to do this. So chess right now, there are 2 levels of chess. The first one is the CAP support rating, and the other is the disaster support rating. I guess I'll get to that in a sec. So if all of us would be going through the CAP rating first, regardless of whether you're a chaplain or a CSS. By the way, if you haven't caught on now, CDIs are now called CSS, Chaplain Support Specialist. So I'll be using that term. So having a chess rating is I guess if you're interested in working more in emergency services, in addition to the character development side of things, the cadet side of things. So as a CSS right now, you do a lot of character development lessons, whether you're a chaplain or a CSS. But having a mission rating qualifies you to work in emergency services. So you'd be in a chaplain support team, which consists of a chaplain and 2 CSSs, and you're basically there at the mission base, providing ministerial services, which is a lot more hands-on training. You're in the incident command center. You're working right alongside everybody else. Let's see. Okay, move forward. Right now, there's a huge need for more people to participate in this program. It's designed that people from all over the country would be able to come together and immediately be able to integrate with each other. And we just don't have enough people yet who are qualified, and part of that is because of this new rating. It's brand new. So we just need more people. You get to meet a lot of people from across the nation and develop some really neat friendships, and you do definitely acquire a new set of skills. If you do the online chess, it's free. Otherwise, you got to pay to fly out to Indiana for a couple of weeks, which obviously is a hard thing to do for a lot of people. So what chess actually consists of for this first CAP support rating, the CS rating? It's 3-hour blocks in the evenings, 3 nights per week for about a month. And it's got pretty strict attendance, and they require you to be on camera the whole time, so you can't be just hanging out in your pajamas. Some people have tried that, and they got kind of chewed out for it. So it does have fairly strict attendance. And if you have questions about that, you can let me know, or you can ask the cadre themselves. There will be a few hours outside of the class that you'll need to devote, as far as working with your team, sending emails, especially gathering your ministry go bag. So after you've completed all that, and they really hold your hand through that whole class. So it's if you show up, you'll eventually graduate for the most part. Show up and participate. You have to participate. So after you earn the rating, you're qualified to be called on to support CAP missions throughout the country, whether that's hurricanes or floods or other disasters, where CAP has its own mission base. The disaster support rating is more demanding, and it requires a little bit more integration with community groups, police and military, and that kind of thing. So if that's something you want to pursue, you're welcome to do that, though that class is held at Camp Atterbury. So in summary, if you're interested in being a part of the Chaplain Corps and you're interested in emergency services, this is a really great program. It's free, and I've certainly learned a lot. And the way things are heading, it seems like in the future, the previous mission chaplain ratings are going away, and we're trying to have more CSS positions throughout Civil Air Patrol, especially in emergency services. So this gives you another opportunity to serve outside of character development with the cadets. So if you have any questions, feel free you can ask now or you can send me an email. I found that it was definitely worth my time. I felt that I had a pretty good foundation before I took the class, and it really gets into the nitty-gritty of how to work in an incident command post and with specific members of the ICP team, incident command team. So does anyone have questions right now on chess?
I think this is Naomi. I'm thinking that we need to make sure that they have the link to go, because there are some prerequisites before you can sign up for the course.
Yes.
And that would be helpful to have that link, and how to sign up is also on that link. So.
Yes, so I think the easiest thing right now is to send me an email, and then I can send you a ton of information about it, because the information right now is still pretty scattered because it's a new program. But I do have all the information in one package that I can send to you. It might be a lot easier.
What is your email address?
My email address is cbarlow@hc.cap.gov. I'll type it in the chat here. There you go. That's the one I primarily use. Sorry, I got someone that just came in the room. So if you're welcome to send me email anytime, feel free. Okay, switching gears just a little bit. I'm just going to do a basic overview of Chaplain Corps Region Staff College. And I think a lot of you have participated in this. Maybe not a lot of you. Some of you have participated in it before. I forwarded an email from Chaplain Jeff Williams. I think I forwarded it last night. I didn't get to it until then. Did anyone not receive that email? Awesome. Okay, so Chaplain Corps Staff College is required for promotion after you get past level 2, I believe. Generally, we head out to the Air Force Academy the last few years we have, and spend about a week and a half there, just doing more classes and things that are really it's pretty fun. That you usually have to pay for. With COVID, they've introduced the virtual option. So it's not nearly as much of a time commitment. Maybe a couple hours a day, a few days a week, maybe not a couple hours, several hours for about a week. And again, you'll be going over classes on how to best do your not your calling, unless you want a calling, your job as a Chaplain Corps member. And you learn more about what plans are coming down the pike, and you get to do a lot of other stuff. It's really a privilege to be a part of. The last one I went to, we rewrote the Chaplain Corps regulations and handbooks completely. So what you see on the new Chaplain Corps specialty book is, Naomi and I wrote a lot of that, which is kind of cool to be a part of something like that. So I would encourage everyone, if you can, to participate at some point in Chaplain Corps Regent Staff College. Again, it's required for promotion, but also it's just a really neat opportunity, especially right now since it's virtual, a lot more convenient. So any questions on that? Okay, so turn it back over to Major Hendricks. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know.
All right, appreciate it. I'm going to put something together here. You can see whether or not I'm there, right? Okay, so I've got your wonderful picture, but I can't get me up, so good. I don't have to worry about that. That'd be great. No. At any rate, I am going to, that's interesting. I can't show you what I'm doing here.
Share screen is in the upper right now. Should be in the upper right. Right next to the leave button. Do you see that?
No, because I went through your invitation, which is a different way of doing that.
Oh, that's right.
So let me go see if I got it. We may be talking in, oops, wait a minute, we got it. There we go, change picture. Trying to be me, but anyway.
You could also email me what you've got. I can put it up.
The main thing that we have right now, I'm going to basically be going over mostly things that I don't need to. I can still share the screen, I guess. I would like to review with you about basically what the chaplain support specialist does. The position in the squadron is basically to support the commander. We are teaching or presenting the character forums for the cadets, but we also need to continue with our other training. So we're going to need to continue in our progressions through our levels. So level 2, 3, and 4, and 5, okay? And as well as continue with our chaplain specific CSS specific trainings as well. And as she mentioned, the Regent Staff College, but there's also a reminder that says that your training leaders of cadets needs to be renewed every 3 years, as well as your cadet protection training needs to be renewed every 48 months. So we have an automatic reminder for the cadet protection training. However, for the training leaders of cadets, we do not. So that's my job as the support person for the wing chaplain, to make sure that you are aware that your training leaders of cadets qualification is about to expire. Those presentations are only presented at the most quarterly. The next presentation is going to be April the 17th. And so if you need to have that renewal, you should have already received a message stating that it's time. Then the next one after that is going to be in October, on October 17th of this year. The Regent Staff College is, again, something that I highly recommend. when we do get to be able to return back to the Air Force Academy, there are some pluses for being on that site, and because you get additional tours, and it helps you to understand a lot more about how the chaplain teams are integrated into what we do for and with the Air Force. I think that the online course is basically about the same actually as the on-site course, except that when you're on site, you have to factor in travel time. And so that's what extends the amount of time that you spend for the conference. For the online, we're going to be starting again. It'll be the information from Monday through Thursday, because again, there are other faiths that have their Sabbath on Friday, and so we make sure that our chaplains and rabbis and imams are able to be on their way and home to present for their congregations on the Friday. So that's why we only go Monday through Thursday. Any questions about the Regent Staff College at all? Okay. Now, one of the things that I highly recommend, so far as other training, is make sure that you've gone through the Facilitator Training. The Facilitator Training is available through the LMS, or the Learning Management System, so for online courses. And it doesn't take long to complete at all. So, but it does give you a lot more information about different teaching styles and being able to reach especially cadets, but even senior members. We ask for you to complete that fairly soon if you have not already done so. And once you do complete it, that is the one report I do not get. So if you could please send me an email saying, yes, I've completed it, I would appreciate that. I was trying to figure the main regulation that Camille talked about, and that we were instrumental in creating or recreating, as you will. That particular regulation, you can't seem to find it anywhere. It's because it has been approved, but the publication process of being able to place it in that system is taking longer than we'd hoped for. So all of the things that are listed in there, part of those things are what we need to have as our specialty tracks. We have sent you a working copy of that. It's the original draft for that publication. If you have not received it, again, let Chaplain Barlow or myself know, and we'll get that to you. It has all the information that we need to give you for preparing for the different specialty track levels that you will be completing. And that right now it is being presented through the pamphlet, which is $225, and for technician, etc. So let's, right now, everyone except for, I think, 2 persons in our chaplain corps for Utah Wing are still at technician level. So let us see if I can get this to bring up. Okay, we'll see what happens here. May or may not. We have fun times, right? Especially this old lady trying to figure out how to do stuff, right? Okay. Okay. Let's see if I can pull this thing up here. What about that part? Now let's see if we can't get.
Got Chaplain Barden on the screen now.
Yeah. Hello. Can you see? I'm having trouble sometimes. Can you see this? If I can get it to come up. Boy, we'll try one more time. Hold on.
What is it you're trying to pull up? Maybe I can.
It's
pull it
called the
up.
technician level checklist, and I have it as a separate document. So we're going to try pushing this forward so that you can see it. I'm not even sure what it is, but I'll review it with you really quickly. Can you see that?
Nope.
No. Not being kind to me. All right.
The new one or the old one?
The two, well, right now we're still under the 225. And so that would be the one that we'll review quickly because that's the one everybody can probably sign off on fairly rapidly. And then the newer one, I'll have you maybe bring that up for me too as well, and we'll see what we can do. Anyway, if you can.
I've got it up. I can share the
You
screen
got
if
it.
you'd like.
Thank you, please. Do it to it. It's frustrating. I'm deciding that my Mac probably is not wanting to talk to the system right now. That's probably the problem. Okay, so as you see, the 225 has a checklist that is fairly easy to complete. Most of you know what your job is as a character development instructor, which is now a character support specialist, right?
Chaplain support specialist.
Chaplain, sorry, I'm half asleep yet, I guess. Chaplain support specialist. And the differences in the job descriptions and privileges, those are all in the in our regulation that I have sent to everyone. And again, if you don't have it, please give me an email and we'll get it to you. The presenting to satisfaction of your mentor, the on the job training supervisor is the chaplain or myself. So contact us, one of us, to be able to sign off on this. The policies and possible tasks of our support. What are some of those that we can, maybe the best thing to do would be to have Chaplain Barlow explain some of the policies and tasks that chaplain support specialists do. So, okay. I know that the main one that a CSS does is to basically be there to be extra eyes and hands for the commander, to be aware of the squadron situations, be aware of an emergency services situation that you're aware of extra stresses that has been placed on the personnel, and that you're aware when someone's having some difficulty in being able to perform their duty because of that emotional stress. And that's another reason I'm going to put in here a plug for Chaplain Boyd's class later today, because that's going to be talking about how to deal with some of those stressors. We also help out at the encampment, at the Class A encampment. And for chaplain support specialists, we can do any position that they need us to. Usually they try to place us in the TAC officer assistance area. Some other possibilities. We're allowed, as CSS, we're allowed to do anything in an emergency services situation. But when the chaplain needs us, then we have to be in a position to be their support.
Meaning that you can be an air crew, you could do AOBD, any job, but when the chaplain needs you, you gotta drop that job.
Right, and generally it's suggested that we're either an MSA or doing something with the radios rather than being in aircraft. We can be on the flight line helping to supervise cadets or other personnel, but we have to, again, be available to the chaplain whenever the chaplain needs us. Anything else that policy might be one of the things about the confidentiality requirements, because CSS do not have confidentiality protections, and Chaplain Barlow can discuss a little bit more about that maybe.
Sure. Let me stop my screen share unless anyone needs that screen up still. Good. Okay. So the confidentiality policy, if you're not familiar with it, in our roles as chaplains, we have the legal responsibility to maintain confidentiality, similar to a doctor or a mental health worker. When we receive information from individuals, that's confidential, and we cannot share it with other people, except in very specific circumstances. And if you have questions about that, you can let us know. But chaplain support specialists are not under that same restriction. And when people come to you, and they will, when people come to you with issues that you're just not sure how to deal with, you just pass them. You refer them to the chaplain. And we're working on increasing the number of chaplains in our wing right now. But contact the chaplain if you have any questions, and especially about things that you wouldn't want the rest of the squadron to know, whether it's information about cadets or other members, or just concerns you have. Don't feel like you have to deal with those. Please pass them on to the chaplains, and we can either advise you or kind of take over for you. Does anyone have any questions about that? That goes for commanders as well.
Maybe right now would be a good time to review about the state of Utah's requirements for reporting and CAP's procedure for reporting abuse.
Okay. Let me pull up a... Okay, so there are some specific circumstances. Anytime you know of a child who's being abused or neglected, or any kind of abuse, you need to notify the wing commander immediately. And that is something that the chaplains also have a legal obligation to do. We, as chaplains, part of our appointment is that we have these legal responsibilities that we have to comply with. So abuse of a child, any kind of abuse, or neglect, or that of a disabled individual, or disabled in any way, whether that's intellectually or physically, that kind of abuse. Let's see. If there's any risk of harm to an individual, whether that's person-on-person harm or self-harm or suicide, especially suicide, that's something that we need to take care of immediately. And in that case, I would recommend just contacting the chaplain and or the wing commander at the same time, and just getting that taken care of immediately. If we have information about cadets, you don't have to contact the parents. That'll be something that the chaplains or the commanders will do. Am I missing anything? Chaplains?
The main, there's the, as you report to the wing commander, and the wing commander also contacts national legal. And so they, legal will call you and give you directions as to what to do based on your state's laws. So
And state laws here in Utah are pretty much the same as CAP laws. Just the mandatory reporting, particularly for child abuse. And that includes cadet on cadet abuse, which has happened a number of times, unfortunately. So any kind of abuse, you need to pass on that information.
right. Okay, awesome.
So at the encampment, instead of the wing commander, if something happened, you go to the encampment commander, right?
Yes, and the chaplain, the head chaplain. So if you're the head chaplain, you can contact me if you're not sure what to do, or you can contact Captain Hammond. But I think Chaplain Boyd will also be there. He's an expert in anything related to Civil Air Patrol or chaplaincy or anything like that. But yeah, things will happen at encampment.
So you ought to come out there for at least one day.
We'll see. We'll see. Hope to.
All right. Any other questions about policies and possible tasks that we are involved in? Okay. The next segment is, our section says, to present to the satisfaction of your mentor or OJT supervisor at least 4 character, in this case, character forum lessons. Well, that it means that sometimes I show up and observe you as to how you're presenting, or else I will ask you to just kind of let me join you in on a face-to-face FaceTime or Google Hang. Well, it's not called Google Hangout anymore. It's called Meet or other type of, or Zoom, so that I can observe you in your presentation to the cadets and your interactions with the cadets. The main thing that I'm looking for there is that the cadets are able to understand how the whatever forum lesson is going to be able to be incorporated in their lives, so that I can tell through their conversations and responses back to you whether or not they're getting it, so to speak. Okay, so there's supposed to be 4 character development lessons. I also monitor your Form 34 CAP cars submissions. So now's the time to talk about your keeping your entries up to date. If there is any of you that have difficulties in being able to get into the system to be able to report or don't know what categories are necessary to be what is reported in which category, then let me know. I'll walk you through it. That's usually a one-on-one kind of situation.
And I know
anyway.
there are a couple of you that, for whatever reason, still do not have access to that, and we are still working on it for you. But if anyone else does not have access for whatever reason, please let us know.
Yes, there is a quick guide that was put together by Chaplain Williams, the former region chaplain, and he has done a revision to it. So I will send a copy of that out to you again. So that will help you to know a little more about what goes into which category. All right. Next is Chaplain Corps organizational structure. We are kind of unique in a way because we have 2 chain of commands instead of just 1. So the first chain of command is, of course, one that we're more aware of, and that's through our wing. First is squadron chaplain, wing chaplain, region chaplain, national chief of chaplains. So what I know that we have, there we go. Thank you so much, Camille. She's bringing up the chaplain structure. Currently, our wing chaplain is Chaplain Camille Barlow, correct? Our region chaplain has changed. It is now Chaplain David Wright and
David Knight.
Knight. That's why I'm saying right. Knight. I've always said that. In fact, he's such a fantastic person. I really enjoy being able to talk with him. He's got some great insights. I would like to also let you know that the National Chief of Chaplains is it's affirmed that it's Chaplain Murdoch. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he is the way that we work things through is that we go up the chain. So if you have a concern, it first comes to the wing chaplain, and then from there it will be passed on to the region chaplain, and the region chaplain will pass it on to the national chief of chaplains. It's best that we go through that chain and not skip any of those, simply because we all need to be apprised of what is going on in our echelons below. So let me say the last, I see that you've got your document up.
I apologize. I can't find it in the regulations pamphlets.
And the 40-80 is in chapter 12. That's the precursor to the 80-1. I never did get a copy of the 80-1. I don't know if that is actually available yet.
I don't think it's technically available yet, but
anyway, the draft copy, it's in chapter 12 and gives all of this. There we go. Chaplain John Murdoch. And we have the last segment is complete 6 months of active service as a CSS. Yes. The staff duties that we have within the squadron. It's up to the chaplain corps personnel to meet with the commander and deputy commander and deputy commander of cadets to be able to put together a plan of action, basically an overview of what is needed for the squadron that the chaplain and or the CSS can provide, and that needs to be done annually. And I know that again in the 40-80 it tells you some guidelines. So I'm in the process of making a overview type document that will be a kind of a checklist, and that will assist you in doing that planning. There's several times in the year that I'll give you a call and just check to see how you're doing. And it's important that we have that communication, just because I need to have that information in order to better serve you as chaplains and as CSS personnel. Okay, there we go. There's the handbook. Thank you for getting that up. The very last, there's 2 chapters that are really, really advantageous to check into. And one is let's see, the specialty track that will be coming up is on page 161, which is the technician rating specialty track guide. And that includes all of the regulations that you need to understand. So that's a valuable resource. So far as annual planning, that planning segment is, here we go. She has it up. So that's, let's see, as you scroll through here, there's a technician rating. There's a checklist that it'll be changed to, and and I think that it's actually a little bit different because it requires you to have a transmission file or continuity book. That is very helpful for whoever else is going to follow you in your position within the squadron. And you always, if you can think of 2 deep leadership, you've heard of that before, right? Those continuity books are critical in being able to help maintain the trust level that the cadets have with members of the chaplain corps. So please be sure to have a continuity book. That the information that also is needed. There's the information. There we go. Back up a little bit. There we go. These are the your reading list, so to speak. Okay.
These numbers will be changing
Yes. That's
So I don't
point.
take a screenshot or anything because it's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same. As you already are aware, the cadet program numbering has already changed, and our chaplain corps is going to be with 80 dash whatever, right? That's going to be our new number system. Emergency services, it's going to be a given that you have to have pass the general emergency services requirement.
Which is the GES 1, 15, 16, and 17?
Yes.
Like
and 116 is the one that's the main one that we need to have. That's your 101 card, so to speak. People older of us are used to saying the 101 card instead of GES 116, but anyway. And then the requirements for your basic requirements in the FEMA class courses as well is all listed in the emergency services area of our regulations. So you think it would be helpful for you to put that together also on that general checklist? If you do, then
And
raise your
unfortunately,
hand.
we can't send this out just yet. So, but we can send you bits and pieces of it.
Right.
Until it's officially released, we can't give you a
We
copy.
Nope. So I've already got several in there. What else see what else is on here that we need to review?
It's the TLC, we already covered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really not too hard.
Too different than
By
what
the
I've
time
just
you've been a
discussed.
CSS for 6 months, you have pretty much been able to do all these things anyway. So it's a matter of getting those things signed off.
Camille, I'm going to ask you if you could go into the index portion of the Go Civil Air Patrol site. Sorry, and then go ahead and go and review what's available, because I've noticed that there's been some issues in that regard. And we have let's just go through them, because we've got the regulations we're aware of.
So you're going to go over and click on members
additional-
first.
Yeah.
Members and then publication library, and you don't need to be signed in to do this. And you'll click on indexes, regulations, and manuals. Or pamphlets. There are also some things in the pamphlet section.
In the pamphlet section, we have the 80-3 and the 80-4. They those are for the senior values training that every squadron is also supposed to be presenting these kind of discussions and facilitating these discussions with senior members every month if possible. It's up to the commander to decide when you can present these. And so please look at the core values for senior members. And those also, that when you present those, it also has to be reported on the Form 30 for the in the CAP course. So we can track to see what has been presented, so that we can make some suggestions. The commander, this is an important opportunity for you to discuss with the commander the areas that he feels need to be addressed within the squadron, because there are more than 24 lessons available out of the core values for senior members pamphlet. So it's it gives a pretty good overview of what is real time type of experiences that you have in a squadron. And they work through case study type of format.
And I believe Chaplain Boyd, did you participate in creating this pamphlet as well?
I believe
No,
you did.
that was
No?
another team that
Okay.
did that.
Another team? Okay. No. I know that it's interesting to note that throughout the past 20 years, you can see a definite change in the mindset of what is ethical and what is not. And so it's helpful to address these lessons and help our senior members to kind of enlarge their awareness, okay, of kind of what I call stinking thinking. It's just where you don't think in a way that's going to be in ethics and based off of the core values of CAP. In every situation that you will find that there's a problem, you'll find that there's a trying to find the right word, an issue with the breach of one of the values. Oh, hold on a second.
All right, while she's doing that, here are some more applicable pamphlets, I guess. So until that new document is released,
There you
you
go.
can find the original pamphlet 221, regular A, B, and C, as well as the 225. So until we have officially released the new documents, we are still using these old pamphlets.
Right. Okay. The 80-4, I know that Chaplain Boyd definitely had something to do with that. Maybe he can chime in and let us know what his thoughts are about the wellness program.
The wellness program?
Yeah, the 5 pillars.
Yeah, the wellness program still works under the administrative assistant to the national chaplain. So that once per year, usually in the September lesson, instead of the one that we have published, we let's say we defer at this time, but we're actually trying to, in the chaplain corps, to take this over as well to make it fit better into the structure that we have talked about. This is General Smith's baby, and he has instructed that we deal with one of these pillars at least once a year. And so that information comes down from the national level, and they, right now, the cadet development section of Civil Air Patrol has developed the lesson. And I think you've all noted that the format is kind of the old traditional PowerPoint situation. And so what we're trying to do in the chaplain level, at the national level, is we'll take responsibility for building a lesson for each of those pillars. So that's about all I know about it at this point in time.
I appreciate your help in helping us understand this.
And Chaplain Boyd, Colonel Jessic has actually come up with some very interesting
Yes.
presentations. I'd highly recommend check it. I'll send some of those to you. That may be of
Yeah,
help
well,
at
actually,
national.
they don't need to come to us. They need to go to Chaplain Tim.
Okay.
But if you send them to me, I can forward them to him.
Tim Miner.
Minor, yeah.
Okay, will do.
Because he's the
That's
administrator.
how they come down. So I would suggest you send them there and eliminate me.
Will do.
All right.
But while I'm unmuted, we are rewriting the curriculum, or reviewing the curriculum is probably a better term. So if there's anybody that has any suggestions of areas that we've left out, areas you've encountered that you don't think communicate well to the cadets, any changes you'd like to see in the rewrite of the program, if you can send those to me. We're in the process of, as we speak, rewriting the curriculum for the next cycle.
Okay.
You're talking about the CDI lessons?
The forums.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right. That pretty much takes care of the overview of the different regulations that pertain to CSS, but I'd like to also do a little bit of administrative housekeeping. Okay, so we need to go back onto the index and go through the rest of the index to just make you be aware of a little bit more that can be helpful to you within the index there. There are, on the left-hand side, we also have forms, right? Now, one of the things we've had difficulty with, and we're trying to get this remedied, is that for instance, there are some chaplain support specialists that actually consistently assist two different squadrons. And so we would like to add a duty position for the second squadron. And so we need to complete a Form 2, which is, or 2A, sorry, to be able to get that duty assignment into the system. So then you definitely would have a bit more possibly paperwork in Ncap cars, because you'd have to report individually for each squadron instead of as it is now. As it is now, when you visit another squadron to assist them, that information is listed under you and your home squadron. However, sometimes I can't always pick out that information to say, okay, this squadron needs to have additional help. And I would prefer to be able to just look through each individual squadron as it's listed and in my reports and be able to pull that information and compile it. So that would be the reason for doing this. To do that, let's hand this to Chaplain Barlow. Would you kind of give them the procedure, who initiates this, etc., and where does it go from there?
Of this Cap 2A? Yes. Okay. Either a commander or you can initiate this. In a lot of cases, I would recommend you do it. Your squadron commander tends to not know a ton about the chaplain corps way of doing things, I guess. So if you could start this, they would appreciate it. So you'll fill out this form as far as you know. And once you fill it out, you will send it, you'll sign it and send it to your squadron commander, who will then sign it and send it up to the wing commander, region commander, who will then send it to national. And generally, once you get it off to the squadron commander, that process happens very quickly. So you'll usually hear back within a week or two, ideally. And it'll show up in e-services what the change is.
Good. So
this goes through your regular chain of command, not through the chaplain corps.
I would also ask that if you, when you fill out that information on your cap cards and you put that under admin, that you are administrative, that you go ahead and also make note that you have completed a form 2A and the date that it's been sent up to up the chain, so to speak. So then that way I can also follow through on it if it gets stuck somewhere in the cycle. Okay, because if you have any questions about filling this out, it's kind of your administrative person from your squadron should be able to help you to complete this. But it'll say the duty in the duty status, and where it says duty assignment change, you say added duty. Okay, because you're not changing from one squadron to another. You're going to be adding a duty. So you're going to put in the from, you're going to put added duty to, and then the squadron that you're assisting, and your title that's going to be placed there as well. There you go. So and then it goes from there. All right.
Major
Yeah.
Hendricks,
Yes.
I'm still listed as the CDI for a squadron in Louisiana. Would I
Oh,
use
you
the
need to have
same?
that transferred. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm listed as the CDI for a squadron here as well. And I
Okay.
gave a CDI lesson to the one in Louisiana last year over Zoom, but I don't really
yeah.
feel like I'm their CDI.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Plus, reporting is a little bit more difficult for me to track from Louisiana. That's
Yeah,
true.
well, I don't enter anything under the Form 34 for Louisiana. I do
Okay.
it all in the local form, but
All right. That'll
so,
work.
so do I use the same form to take care of that?
That is
That's
Chaplain.
something that I will take care of.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
will
because I
attempt
talked to Chaplain Hoy in Louisiana, and he was going to look into it, but he has some family stuff going on, so probably just didn't get to it.
Okay, I will create an email draft right now so that I can remember. And also, you are listed, sir, as a chaplain. Are you a chaplain?
I am not. I always have to
Okay.
change the drop down to CDI.
Okay, I'll check on that as well.
Yeah, we've actually, I requested that with the former wing chaplain, and it didn't go anywhere. So
I
you
mean,
could
I
do that.
never applied to be a chaplain, so I don't know how I became one.
You and I think, was it Corey Satera, who's also
Corey
listed
Satera.
as a chaplain?
I mean, I'd be happy to be a chaplain, but I didn't apply, so. And I don't have an appointment certificate for that. And since I got one for CDI, I would suspect that I'd get one as a chaplain.
Yes, it's true. There's a whole lot of different. It's a different procedure to become a chaplain, and it's
I understand.
very, very difficult.
And I did not go through that procedure. So
yeah.
Mistakes happen. We'll try to get it taken care
absolutely.
of.
Yes. the only other person that can be listed as a chaplain, and we understand why, is myself, because I have to have access to personnel records, and to be able to do that, I have to be listed as a chaplain for some reason. So that makes it, I would like to have that corrected at national as well. We're working on getting that remedied as well for those of us who are wing support specialists.
I think it would surprise many people I know if I was listed as a chaplain.
Well,
In a good way, hopefully.
yes, in a good way.
Sure.
Let's go back to the index again, and then we're going to go back on through, follow the way here. And she gets that set up. Okay. So as we finished forms, now we're going to go down to the next thing, interim change letters. Right now, I don't think that there's an interim change letters right now. No. They're listed that have already, they're back from February, I think was the, oh, maybe take that back. Inspections is new, but so we have some, it basically, these are changes to the regulations. When they find that there's an error and it needs to be updated, they put it in an interim change letter until the next publication is actually published out. Then the correction is included in there. So, okay.
So an example of that would be when we switch to ABUs, Airman
Right.
Battle Uniform.
Right. Okay, next one is other publications. Other publications is helpful because when you want to know, yes, anything about communication and writing anything, you go to the Tongue and Quill. That is that's our Bible, so to speak. It's very, very helpful. It even helps. It even discusses about how to, well, public speaking tips as well. It's a really, really excellent publication.
It'll give you anything you need.
Right. Follow along and you're good. This particular publication has been in use for many, many, many years prior to the update in 2015. So it's really, really good. Air Force speaking is a very, very good thing. I'm still learning and trying to remember everything that I've learned from the Tongue and Quill. But especially, it's an excellent, excellent publication. Okay, let's go back to, fact is, I'm thinking that if, I'm going to ask for feedback, would you like to have kind of a mini class on public speaking, other than having to go through a Toastmasters course? See if we can do that. That might be helpful for everyone. Okay.
I think also the facilitator training does a good job of that as well.
Yes, it does. Okay, let's go scroll down that page a bit further down. And you'll notice that there's some additional, the October Down Day training package is listed there as well. And there are different capability.
Does anyone not know what the October Down Day is?
Maybe you better ask. Okay, seems everybody knows. Okay, Um, anything else after operations? Yes, there is. Okay, then we go to visual aids. Visual aids. There's the person that I would bring you to the cadet area, because it has the super chart that kind of reminds you of all of the, for those who are especially new to CAP, it gives the cadet ranks and their requirements for promotion, okay, including time and grade and such. And right now, because of the COVID pandemic, they some of those requirements have been changed a bit, but they will return once we're cleared from COVID restrictions. So it'll be going back. Right now, they can test out complete once a month instead of every 2 months. So that's a big difference. So it especially helps cadets that are had difficulty being able to promote quickly. This is a chance for them to be able to use this time to promote and catch up to where they would normally or would have originally have been. So let's go back to the next visual chart for cadets is the personal cadet tracker. Now, this tracker sheet tells them, you'll notice, we've got leadership, aerospace fitness, notice character, okay? They need to have participated in a forum in order to promote. So they're being requested by their cadet programs, deputy commander cadets, to enter the date that they do this per each promotion. Okay, and hopefully they minimally they have to have one, but hopefully they actually have more than one. And this sheet is also wonderful just because they also helps them to set goals. It's a visual reminder of what their goal is in promoting. And we just had a forum, 2 months ago? A month ago? Yeah, 2 months ago. In March about goal setting. So this is their reminder. So it's a very good way. If your squadron is not using this for the cadets, I would suggest that you introduce them to this. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one on visual aids. There's the Cadet Protection Policy poster. And it's just a very concise review of the policy. I would suggest it be printed and posted, so in view of your senior members as well as the cadets, so that they can refer to it. Okay, next one is, let's see, the fact sheet. It's an overview of what the program has been doing, basically. What we're, this is based off of the report that we make to Congress, and and it's the reason why we do the entries into CAPGARs is because that data is compiled and then presented for our funding and what we are doing and how we're doing. Reminds the Air Force, especially, of what we are helping them with, because sometimes we get so focused in our one particular area that we neglect to be aware of those other support personnel that we have. So the program this helps also in being able to in recruitment. So I'm going to have you go to the next one. I'm writing my notes here at the same time. Sorry. You want to do the Wingman poster?
I would love to. Maybe.
Chaplains and CSS are involved in the Wingman program and presenting it to our new entry cadets. And hopefully it'll come up. It's kind of a reminder, the best way of putting it, to say, if they want to come up. There we go. There we go. About that we work as a team and that we're, especially with cadets there at this peer level support portion of their lives, where that's so imperative that they have that support. It's part of their maturation, that they learn to not just be self-centered, but also be aware of being part of a team. Okay, so notice it just has a good list here about, okay, be careful, guys. This is what you need to watch out for. And if you meet up with any of this, then you talk to the chaplain, you talk to your CSS and commander, so that you manage to get some guidance as to how to handle these situations. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. There's one that I forgot to even check into, and that's the logic model. I'll have to check that out on my own. All right. So any other one there that you think, besides the core values, that was my last one that I'm aware of that we need to go over? That's another poster that should be posted in the squadron so that it's a reminder about what makes us who we are. Okay.
What would you recommend doing for squadrons that don't have a regular space they need?
A lot of a lot of our squadrons are in that situation. Actually, we have a portable file that we bring with us, and I was with our Phantom Squadron. We used to have to be in locations where we even couldn't have a file cabinet. When that's the situation, then you can, like these posters that are made up, if they're the larger size, that they can be placed in a like an art, what do they call those? They're a portfolio, and taken back and forth to meetings, or having the necessary. Most everything now is available via the internet, and I'm not aware of any squadron that doesn't have access to a fairly decent internet connection. So,
And Colonel Fife, are you referring to the COVID situation where a lot of meeting places are shut down?
Well, yes and no. I mean, even when we had a regular meeting place, all we had was a cabinet because
Yeah.
we met at the National Guard headquarters. Now
Right.
we're meeting at someone's place of business.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had portable files that we've carried back and forth. The only thing that they have to be aware of is who is responsible for transporting those files, that they make sure that they're in a safe location between meetings.
Sure. Well,
Um,
I let the cadet. Oh, yeah, I let the cadet people take care of the cadet files. I'm thinking more of the things you suggest we post because I
Mhm.
can't.
Right. I have, I think that every place that we've met at, there's always been a magnetic whiteboard that we could just temporarily post a poster onto it and then remove it, at the end of the meeting.
And you're right, it is hard when we don't own these places. I think another way is the places that we do go, whether it's to a hangar or to encampment, to post those when you are able, and not just that, but to talk about those things with the cadets and the senior members.
Right. So yes, and I'm grateful for the senior values program because that gives another opportunity to be discussing these issues as well.
I have a question about the character development forums. In my squadron, the senior members attend those as well.
Good. They can do that.
And you're with Phoenix, right?
I'm with Blackhawk. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was
that's
on
right.
mute.
That's right. Blackhawk. Okay, so the senior members that come are cadet program staff.
Oh, no, just everyone who's at the meeting.
Okay.
They sit in the back and don't say much. They let the cadets. I do call on them periodically when it's a more a harder question for young people to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It's helpful.
I put the commander on the spot at least once per forum.
Yes.
Great.
We do the same. We do the same at the Raptors, but we only have a few senior members that come each time, so we still need to get around to the rest.
Agreed.
Okay. I know that that insight, as you mentioned, is invaluable, and it also does a second thing, and that it helps the cadets to be able to develop a sense of trust, and their feeling of teamwork with the senior members as well, and that helps when they're placed on in the situation of a mission, or training, that they have that rapport already established. So
I think it also models for the cadets
yeah, that was
what sort, okay, well, then I'll hush and let you make it.
No, thank you. That's what the more you can input, that's great. Thank you, Leslie. All right. Back to our wonderful index. Okay. We're gonna need to go back there, and we are going to go down to, I've got allergies right now. I'm sorry, I can barely see the screen. I think everything is, the training intensity watch out list. Remember that we are the second set of eyes and ears about for cadet protection, especially making sure that that we're aware of these. Just, I'm going to have you take time and review that particular visual aid on your own.
And I'm sure most of you have seen these things happen. It especially happens at encampment. It's best to bring that up as soon as you can, and so it can be addressed.
Part of the staff training for encampment includes reviewing these points as well. Okay. Back to our next fun thing. So, have we pretty much covered everything all the way down the list there? Okay. Let's go to publications templates. You'll notice there are some things there that are helpful to us. Those of us who do not have our business cards, that there's a template for our business card. The review on the any suggestions for those of you who have already created your business card? Okay. The email signature, those have changed. And they updated it, and we've got a new revision. So you might want to review that one.
If you use the format that I have in my email signature, that is the one that has been reviewed by National and is the approved one at this time.
Right. Okay. And they have it set for regular correspondence versus when you have certain, I guess, providers that you have to drop the logo, the CAP logo, etc. So, and then also they have a overview too of what you can use if you are on a text format as well. There you go. Notice the phone number is a dot, no dash. Okay.
The logo is removed because that does not translate well across
Right.
military servers in particular.
Right. And there's some other changes that, like the situation about Civil Air Patrol and the comma after Civil Air Patrol before U.S. Air Force Auxiliary, and that the U.S. has to have period, the dots after the letters there of U dot S dot. For text, it's a very 2-line thing, and this particular template has detailed information as well. So if you want to review that, that would be a good thing to do. We're getting close to our end of time here, so let's look at memorandum. Every once in a while, you might want to deal with a memorandum. That's the only thing we have to maybe look at. Chaplains would need to do that more so than the rest of us. Chaplain support request. There's another. There you go.
Yeah, just it wants me to download. My computer doesn't like Office
downloading
anymore.
Yeah, we understand.
I do have a couple of templates though. Oh, maybe not that one.
That's at wing or region. Okay, this kind of gives, there we go, headquarters UTO wing. And that's an example for a memorandum style letter. Fact is, that might be one we need to send to chaplains especially. Okay. The one about chaplain support or request there.
Yeah, I'm not able to open it right now.
You can't open it. Okay. Go ahead and look at that as well, all of you, and see if that's helpful to you. Okay. Now, we understand the administrative folk are supposed to take care of transportation authorizations and etc. But sometimes we have to remind them that these need to be in place, especially when they're going for a Class B encampment, and that we're going to also be assisting. All right. I don't think there's anything more there. So, all right. Next, after looking at all of our templates there, there's approved, let's see. I've got an issue of my own here. Sorry. Disappeared for a minute. This supplements and operating instructions. Rocky Mountain region says that there's additional safety, and yeah, it's the safety one now for the whole region, and there's none for Utah at this time. But just a reminder about be safe, okay? But you have to every once in a while review those and make sure you understand that. And this one's the current one, by the way. The region commander is now Colonel Johnson, and he happens to also be a chaplain, but he's stepped away from his chaplain position to become the wing commander. So, FYI. Okay, let's go back and go to our next segment. Okay, and each of the supplements are there. Okay, education and training. Voila. Okay. These are our vision and mission statements. And they have a different kind of tutorials, and you'll find that the tutorial for going into the training segments off of these services is there in the very bottom there. So it helps you to understand what the different tools are, etc. So in case you ever need to know that. How many of you know about Volunteer University? This is a point where I'll interject that. Volunteer University is where we're putting more and more of our trainings because we have to do it online instead of in person. So if you're willing to and you have some expertise in an area, we invite you to become an instructor at university, at Volunteer University, and there's a process that you go through to do that. Really would like for you to do that.
I'm actually already an instructor through the university.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Corey. Fantastic. Okay. I think Chaplain Boyd should be too, right? Okay. Let's go. The knowledge base is the next one. Well, events will just put you into where you probably should go through that. Go through the calendar. Squadrons, you do have access to the calendar, and it would be really good to place your activities there. There we go. So that we can move to April and we'll be able to see what's really going on here. I'm making you move it. Right? Sorry. But this is where everything is listed throughout the whole of the nation here. And we really don't have a lot of entries within Rocky Mountain region, and this is where cadets like to check things out, and they have their notifications based off of this calendar, and so
Or off of the wing calendar.
Or off the wing
probably
calendar.
a little more helpful.
Yeah. The cadets that are doing special activities are qualifying for special activities. That's something that's listed on the national calendar. But yes, the wing calendar mine is automatically linked to my personal calendars that I have in my phone and etc. So. Desert Hawk, by the way, is on, evidently, right? April or June 10th. When did they change the dates? I don't remember what the dates are. They were the 10th to the 17th. Now what are they?
If it's new, I'm not sure. Let's check the wing calendar.
Yeah, the Desert Scorpion is another.
Yeah.
That yep, it's still you'll notice Desert Scorpion and the encampment are the same time.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm trying to figure out how they can stagger staff for those because they're needed to be in both places. Anyway, yes. Good.
All right, we're about out of time.
Yep. There's only one more thing to look on the index, and that's it.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
This is probably dumb, but I have a wing CAP email address, but I don't know where to go to check that email.
That is a great question. Let me see if I can pull up my bookmark because I can rarely remember. Okay. So if you see this, are you able to see this link in my Chrome browser at the very top?
Let's see, it says
Outlook.office.com. So that's how I access my account. I have that bookmarked so that I don't have to remember it because I don't remember it usually. That should bring you to a login page where you type in your your Wing email and password.
Okay. I'll try it, but not now.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. That is fantastic. Appreciate that. And I think that the only last, I think we covered everything on the, did we cover everything that we needed on the index, and that's basically it. So play around, be aware of what's available to you. Knowledge base is not really, that's if you're putting in information to knowledge base. The knowledge base, most everything now is on our Google searches. They'll come up, they'll pop up. So it's the best way of dealing with it. And that's it. Ta-da. We're thankful for the opportunity that we have had to visit with you. And I would say that if you have any additional questions, please contact us. You can. I still have my CDI liaison email, but I am going to be changing that to utwg.cap.gov address. I don't think I'm ever really going to get my HC address up and working. So that's my issue there. So please be aware if you get any, and I'll give you a notice to say this is my new email. And we'll go from there. Thank you very much for your time. You've been wonderful, and we look forward to hearing from you. And please always check for emails from me. I tend to do more via emails than I do text. If you need me to do it via text more often than I have been, please let me know. Okay. All right. We're there.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.